You've done everything right. You held the door. You listened when nobody else would. You put everyone else first, sacrificed your time, swallowed your opinions, and smiled through it all. And what did you get? Passed over for the promotion, friend-zoned, taken for granted, walked over. Again. Meanwhile, the guy who interrupts people, the one who doesn't return favors, the one who puts himself first without apology, he's getting exactly what he wants. And you're standing there confused, bitter, wondering why the world punishes goodness. Here's the truth nobody wants to tell you: the world isn't punishing your goodness. It's punishing your weakness. And until you understand the difference, you'll keep finishing last while pretending it's noble. Let me be clear about something. You're not a nice guy. You think you are, but you're not. Nice implies choice. Nice implies you're operating from a position of strength, consciously deciding to extend kindness because you want to. Not because you're terrified of what happens if you don't. What you actually are is afraid. You're afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid that if people see who you really are, what you really think, what you really want, they'll abandon you. So you've built this elaborate performance called being nice to protect yourself from that fear. You smile when you're angry. You agree when you disagree. You say yes when every fiber of your being is screaming no. And you've convinced yourself this is virtue. It's not. It's cowardice dressed up as morality. Here's where it gets darker. Every time you do something nice for someone, you're running a calculation in your head. You're keeping score. You help them move, so they owe you loyalty. You listen to their problems for hours, so they owe you affection. You were there when nobody else was, so they owe you priority in their life. But here's the problem: you never said any of this out loud. You never negotiated. You never made your expectations clear. You just gave and gave and gave, all while secretly expecting a return on your investment. This is what psychologists call a covert contract. You're making deals that the other person never agreed to, then resenting them when they don't hold up their end of a bargain they didn't know existed. This isn't kindness. This is manipulation with extra steps. And the worst part, you're manipulating yourself most of all because you've convinced yourself your motives are pure when they're actually transactional. The resentment builds slowly, quietly. Every unreturned favor, every time your friend only calls when they need something, every time the girl you've been orbiting for months goes home with someone else, every time your boss dumps more work on your desk because you're so reliable, the bitterness grows like a cancer, and you start to believe the lie nice guys finish last. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is that the world has figured out something about you that you haven't figured out about yourself yet. You're exploitable. You've telegraphed to everyone around you that you have no boundaries, no standards, no line you won't let people cross. And humans, whether we like to admit it or not, are pattern recognition machines. We test boundaries. We push limits. We see how much we can take before someone pushes back. And when someone never pushes back, when someone just absorbs everything with a smile, we learn that they're safe to exploit. Not because we're evil, but because they're teaching us how to treat them. The world doesn't reward niceness. It rewards strength. It rewards clarity. It rewards people who know what they want and aren't afraid to pursue it, even if it means disappointing someone. Think about the people in your life who command respect, the ones people listen to when they speak, the ones whose time is valued, the ones who get opportunities. What do they have in common? They say no. They have standards. They'll walk away from a bad deal. They don't need you to like them. And paradoxically, that's exactly why people respect them, chase them, value them. Because their attention and approval is scarce. It has to be earned. You, on the other hand, your approval is guaranteed. Your time is available. Your boundaries are negotiable. And in a world governed by supply and demand, you've made yourself abundant and therefore worthless. Here's the shift you need to make, and it's going to feel uncomfortable at first because you've spent your entire life running from this truth. Being nice is not the same as being good. Nice is easy. Nice is passive. Nice is saying whatever keeps the peace in the moment, regardless of the long-term consequences. Nice is the coward's camouflage. Good is hard. Good requires courage. Good means telling someone the truth, even when it damages the relationship. Good means having principles that don't change based on who's in the room. Good means being willing to be the villain in someone else's story if it means staying true to your values. The men who finish first aren't nice, but many of them are good. They're good to the people who've earned it. They're good to themselves. They have standards, and they enforce them without apology. Stop being nice. Start being selective. This is the first law. Your time, energy, attention, and resources are finite. Every yes to something you don't want is a no to something you do. Every hour you spend helping someone who wouldn't cross the street for you is an hour stolen from your own goals, your own growth, your own life. Selectivity isn't cruelty, it's survival, it's sanity. From this moment forward, before you say yes to anything, ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? If the answer is fear, the answer is no. Watch what happens when you start applying this filter. The takers in your life will be outraged. They'll call you selfish. They'll tell you you've changed. Good, you have. You've stopped being their emotional ATM. Let them leave. The people worth keeping will respect your boundaries and adjust accordingly. Here's the second law, and this one's going to sting. Make people earn your generosity. You've been giving away the best parts of yourself to people who haven't done anything to deserve it. Your loyalty, your effort, your vulnerability, these are premium offerings, and you've been handing them out like free samples at the grocery store. Stop. When someone new enters your life, they get basic respect and basic courtesy. That's it. They want more. They prove themselves over time. They show up consistently. They reciprocate. They demonstrate through action, not words, that they value what you bring to the table. This isn't being cold. This is being intelligent. This is recognizing that your energy is sacred and should be invested where it will actually grow, not thrown into black holes that give nothing back. The people who genuinely care about you will understand this. They'll rise to the occasion. Everyone else will filter themselves out, saving you years of wasted effort. The third law is the hardest, but it's the most important. Be disagreeable when it matters. You've spent your life as a thermometer, adjusting to whatever temperature the room requires. It's time to become a thermostat. Set the temperature yourself and let others adjust to you. When someone says something you fundamentally disagree with, say so. When someone proposes a plan that doesn't serve you, decline. When someone crosses a line, call it out immediately, not 3 days later in a passive-aggressive text. This will feel like dying at first. Your whole identity is built around being agreeable, easy, low maintenance. But here's what you'll discover. Most conflict isn't actually dangerous. Most people respect directness more than they respect people pleasing. And the tiny percentage of people who can't handle your honesty, they were never going to respect you anyway. They needed you compliant, not authentic. Let them go. You're going to lose people when you make this shift. Some of them you'll miss. Most of them you won't. The people who benefited from your weakness will fight to keep you weak. They'll guilt trip you. They'll tell you you're not the person they thought you were. They're right. You're not. You're becoming someone better, someone who respects themselves enough to demand respect from others, someone who understands that finishing first sometimes means being willing to finish alone. Because here's the final truth. You can't win a race you're not even running. And you've been so busy carrying other people across their finish lines that you've forgotten you have your own. Stop waiting for permission to prioritize yourself. Stop apologizing for having standards. Stop pretending that self-sacrifice is the highest virtue when all it's done is make you resentful and exhausted. The dark truth isn't that nice guys finish last. The dark truth is that there are no nice guys. There are only strong men who choose kindness and weak men who hide behind it. Which one are you going to be?